as they arrive. So I wanted us just to get started by, does everybody know where your reaction button is on Zoom? I'm guessing by now that most of you know where the reaction button is. So I would like you to find your reaction button and answer the question, how is your day going so far? We've got lots of thumbs up, some hearts. Oh, so generally looks like folks are having a great day. That's awesome. Somebody's surprised, somebody's stressed. Yes, you can drop an answer in the chat too if you like. Okay, what is your current energy level? A few stressed out folks. Okay, how are things in your community of faith these days? Ooh, somebody's having a party. Lots of thumbs up. That's great to hear. Some claps. Wonderful. Looks like there's lots of good things going on with a few not so fabulous ones. Okay. How many Zoom meetings have you been in so far today? If this is your first, you can put the party hat icon. If it's a few, you can clap. If it's too many to count, you can put the surprised icon. Wonderful. All right. Well, welcome everyone. It's great to be here and to get into this Zoom room together. It's been a while since we've done PMR Townhall, so it's fabulous to be back together. I just always find this so wonderful to see all the faces and watch as you pop into the space, and I'm just reminded that we are a church together all the way across our region, and it's just such a great opportunity to come together in this way and be connected. We have decided to kind of change up the frequency of the town halls a little bit. So we're looking to gather kind of something along the quarterly line. And one of the things that we heard in our feedback around some of the surveys and the AGM that we've put out lately is that folks are really feeling like they want to be hearing more about some of the work of the region and the region's executive. So we're kind of shifting the focus to updating you about some of the things that are going on in the region, and really giving you all an opportunity to ask the questions that you have and interact with your staff and with your executive, so that you can feel like you're informed about the work of this region, but also to have an opportunity to be together with each other and to be community with and for one another. So to get us started, I'm going to ask Simon to step in, and he's graciously leading us in worship. It's a busy week for Simon. He's chairing our executive meeting, which is meeting starting tomorrow through the end of the week, and this town hall. So thank you, Simon, for all that you're doing for Pacific Mountain Region and for leading us today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my pleasure. I love coming into these things and seeing all of your faces, and it is always nicer when there are like full bodies attached to the squares. But this is such a great way of connecting across the region. I'm tuning in here this afternoon from West Vancouver, and on Saturday we hosted the Kairos blanket exercise here, which was for our community of faith a first big step towards reconciliation. And one of the things that I learned on Saturday, we always we always referred to being located on the unceded territories of the Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, and Squamish nations, but the elders who were present said that in West Vancouver we could just refer to the Squamish Nation. Um, I also was a little suspicious because he was from the Squamish Nation, but that's a whole other story. Um, so the last time that we were all together, we were in Nanaimo, and I hope you've all had something of a relaxing summer, which feels so far away. And I think all the rest vibes that I got over the summer are long gone by now. But um, I want to kind of open this time with the same story that we closed our Saturday meeting with at the AGM in Nanaimo. And so it's this old story from the Desert Fathers and Mothers, and it goes like this. Abba Lot went to Abba Joseph and said to him, Abba, as far as I can, I say my little office. I fast a little, I pray and meditate. I live in peace, and as far as I can, I purify my thoughts. What else can I do? Then the old man stood up and stretched his hands towards heaven. His fingers became like 10 lamps of fire, and he said to him, If you will, you can become all flame. So, a few weeks ago, a few of us from my community of faith went on a weekend retreat, and it was just so good to get out of the usual rhythm. And on the first day of the retreat, I invited everyone to reflect on what they felt they needed out of the retreat. Um, for me, it was guidance and clarity. I felt like I also needed energy. There was a lot of stuff that I needed from God. And I want to just give you a moment. I'll give us like 30 seconds of silence just to make note, just for yourself. You don't need to put it in the chat. If you are feeling bold and vulnerable, you can put it in the chat. But mostly just for yourself. Take a moment to reflect on what you feel you need from God in this season of your life and ministry, whatever ministry form that might look like for you. So we'll just take 30 seconds and um, think on what we think we need right now from God. So, of course, I always like a little plot twist in a retreat. And so, while we spent all this time in our first day reflecting on what we felt we needed, on day two, I reminded everyone that there's things that God longs for us to have that are, um, that language of immeasurably better than what we could ask or imagine. And so I want to take a moment now to read Psalm 139 from the inclusive translation of the Bible. And as I read, my invitation to you is this: um, pay attention to whatever word or feeling or expression stands out to you from this text. Um, but pay attention to what maybe God might want for you to receive in this season of your life in ministry. Um, we all have our own conceptions of what we want, but I find sometimes it's funny because God wants other things for us. And I remember when I did this exercise at the retreat, and I wrote the exercise, and and I thought, well, surely God can't surprise me. I know what's coming. And when I sat with Psalm 139, what came up for me was that God wanted presence, and it wanted me to receive like a sense of presence and intimacy. And that really, really hit home for me because I know for a lot of us, ministry, whether we're in leadership in some capacity in churches, people have this sense that they know us, but they don't necessarily really know us. And this sense of God wanting for me to be known in the deepest parts of who I am was just such a gift. And so, as I read Psalm 139, of course, this is a little bit rushed because I had 3 days of a retreat weekend to lead a group through this, and we have just a few minutes. But as best you can, listen to the words of Psalm 139, and listen to what God might want you to receive right now. Yahweh, you've searched me and you know me. You know if I'm standing or sitting. You read my thoughts from far away. Whether I walk or lie down, you are watching. You are intimate with all of my ways. A word is not even on my tongue, Yahweh, before you know what it is. You hem me in before and behind, shielding me with your hand. And such knowledge is too wonderful for me, a height my mind cannot reach. Where could I run from your spirit? Where could I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you're there. If I make my bed in death, you're already there. If I could fly away with wings made of dawn, or make my home on the far side of the sea, but even there your hand will guide me, your mighty hand holding me fast. If I say the darkness will hide me and night will be my only light, even darkness won't be dark to you. The night will shine like the day. Darkness and light are the same to you. You created my inmost being and stitched me together in my mother's womb. For all these mysteries, I thank you. For the wonder of myself, for the wonder of your works, my soul knows it well. My frame was not hidden from you while I was being made in that secret place, knitted together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my body even there. All my days were written in your book, all of them planned before even the first of them came to be. How precious your thoughts are to me, O God, how impossible to number them. I could no more count them than I could count the sand. But suppose I could, you would still be with me. So I want to encourage you, if you felt through those words, just a sense of God's presence with you, or something that God longs for you to receive in the season of your life. My invitation is that, later when we're done this Zoom call, just spend a little bit of time allowing yourself to receive that. It might look like going for a walk, imagining yourself walking alongside Jesus. It might just be, I know, for me, it's probably going to be lying down with just my palms open, and maybe if I fall asleep, that's okay. But whatever it is for you, if a word or something came to mind, a gift that came to mind, I'll just invite you to write it down next to you on a piece of paper so you can hold on to it, and then at some point in the rest of today, try to make some time to allow yourself to receive that. And so I just want to close with a prayer that a friend of mine, Dr. Chris Townley, wrote a few weeks ago. May the great embrace enfold each of us as we go into this next time. May the walking partner of witness accompany us on our journey. May the shining spirit illuminate the path in our souls. Wholly wrap around, consume us with creativity, compassion, and listening ears. Grant us a whisper of your voice and fill us with your love through and through. Fashion our living into pathways towards shalom and form our entire beings into active participants of your embracing ways of love. Stretch your arms farther than our hearts can imagine and invite us to meet love in those arms of your cosmic hug. May we learn to love as we are loved. Blessed are you, friend of love. Blessed are we, friends of love. May we go together as one love infused body, practicing the revolutionary ways of Jesus together. Amen. And I'll add, may we become all flame. Trina, back to you.
Thank you. Sorry. I was having trouble finding my unmute button. I'm on my iPad. I am joining you today from Chinook Winds region, where, as you know, I'm also serving as executive minister, and this is located on Treaty 7 territory. And I'm grateful to be here on this land, and I'm looking forward to heading home later today to Coast Salish territory to join with the executive. And I invite you to put in the chat your land acknowledgement. And we respond gratefully for this land and commit ourselves to care for it and walk on this ground with respect. So as I said, as you're doing that, the first thing I want us to do with our time together today is to put a bit of focus on the work of the executive. So turn to you again, Simon, and invite you to share with us all about the work of the executive.
Switch hats. So yeah, we as you might remember from the annual general meeting in Nanaimo, it was actually a pretty cool, to me, one of those cool God things where we had 7 openings on the executive, and I was really worried, what happens if we have 8, so for those of you who are familiar with the Enneagram, I'm an Enneagram 6, which is the loyalist. When I was a kid, I would always bring all my stuffies with me on a trip and could never ever leave someone behind. And so I was very worried, like, what if we have 8 people for the 7 spots? What are we gonna do? I could step down, like all these things. And as it turns out, we actually had exactly 7 nominations come in. And so that means that we have a lot of new people coming onto the executive. And so we've been doing some onboarding work and some orientation work to make sure that we're all on the same page. You might remember Cameron Trimble came to via Zoom to the AGM and talked a little bit about the recommendations that came out of the some of the governance structure review, and one of them was for us to continue to familiarize ourselves with the Carver model that we utilize to do some of our work. And so we've been continuing to do some of that education with the executive. So we are meeting actually this weekend, actually not weekend, tomorrow through Friday. And this will be our first in-person meeting since the Nanaimo AGM. And so I want to share with you just a little bit of what we'll be working on. And if there are things that you want us to be hearing as the executive, please, um, you can drop me a note in the chat or just a private note in the chat. If there's things that you would like us to be really paying attention to as the executive when we meet, one of our responsibilities is to shape the vision out of what we hear coming from the region. And so if there's anything, please don't hesitate. Remember that we are all different leaders in different communities of faith who represent who we are as the region. Yeah, please chat with us if there's anything. But looking at what we'll be talking about, what we've done this year is we've divided the agenda into three parts to capture the role of the executive. So on Wednesday, we'll be doing a lot of work around listening to the ownership. Kind of what are we hearing through the region. On Thursday, then we'll be utilizing a lot of the stuff that emerged on Wednesday to help us move some of the vision forward for the region. And our last task on Friday, which I think is the easiest because we have such an incredible staff who are bringing the vision to life. But the last part is where we spend some time monitoring how we're living into that vision. And so, very specifically, some of the things that we'll be doing, we'll be looking at the proposals that were approved at the AGM in June, and we'll be looking at which ones require some action from us as the executive, and we'll be having conversations about those. One of the things that we did in June was a big session where we asked all those who were present to share in small groups, to share the joys and celebrations and challenges, as well as prayer requests from their local ministry contexts. And so, one of the big pieces we'll be doing on Wednesday is going through that massive, massive document to see what are the reoccurring patterns? What is the spirit up to in the region? What do we need to be paying attention to? So that will be a big piece of work. We'll also then, as I mentioned on the Thursday, we'll be looking at refining some of the vision of the region. We have some work to be done, particularly around property. We know that we have been entrusted with these really great resources in the region. And so how do we continue to strategically help our vision flourish through everything that we've been given? And then the other big piece that we'll be doing is doing some deeper work engaging with the Toward 2035 material. And the toward 2035, if you were not at the June AGM, we were presented just with some statistics, right? Where if nothing changes between now and 2035, what are the projections that the national church has for Sunday school attendance, average Sunday worship attendance, average number of communities of faith in the country. And I remember when the first slide went up, there was a bit of a gasp of like, and so all of this was, I think, designed to instigate really great conversation at the regional level. And so we'll be looking at some of that work, so that in some of those projections and working hard to prove those projections wrong. So that's a brief overview of what we'll be looking at in the next few days. And again, I welcome questions, or if there's things that you would really like us to be spending time on, just either send me a private chat or drop it in the chat box. And yeah, Trina, anything you want to add to that?
Um, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can't. Yeah. Okay. Couldn't tell if my mute was on or not. Um, Yeah, no, I think the staff are definitely focusing a lot on the 2035 work, and as is the national church. So we're really using that as an important lens through which we're viewing our work, and trying to be particularly strategic about how we how we apply that. And I think the most important thing to name about that 2035 project is that while the statistics are challenging for us to see and to process, it's also hopeful in that it really helps us to feel that we have some way of engaging with our future in a different way that gives us some agency and some say in how we choose to go forward. So I just think that it's really exciting work, and I'm excited to engage with that. Do folks have any questions for Simon? If you do, raise your hand or just unmute yourself, or put them in the chat. Okay. So, are there members of those of you who are members of the executive? If you could just use your reaction button to raise your hand, and that will put you in Mauricio's sights, and then he can spotlight you. And I saw a couple of you. Oh, there's Robin. She's raising her actual hand. There you go. All right. So there's Thea. I'm not sure if Thea is, oh yeah, there you are. Thea and Robin. So we're very grateful to those of you who put yourself forward to lead in this way in the region. And so I just wanted to ask you the question, what calls you to serve as part of the executive of Pacific Mountain Region?
Well, it looks like Thea's on transit, so well, I'll jump in. When my first reaction to being on executive, I'm brand new, and my first reaction when Graham approached me about it was, "Oh no, I'm way too busy." But and then I said, "Okay, well, I'll think about it." And the more I thought about it, like I really, really believe in the value of the wider church. And the more we're connected with one another, the stronger we are. And the more we can share stories and ideas, just the better things seem to get. And I'm part of the Kootenai cluster, which is the old Kootenai Presbytery, and it's actually a very, very strong cluster. And I'm aware that we're blessed that way, and I really value that. And I really I see the way we lift each other up through being together. So that's my reasons for wanting to be a part of this executive and feeling called to be a part of it.
Thank you, Robin. And Thea said she would type something out, so I'll invite her to do that when it works for her. Thanks for tuning in while you're on transit there, Thea. And as you know, Thea's our incoming president, and we're very, very lucky to have her. And oh, actually, she can speak in a moment, so that'll be great.
Yeah, and I was on transit just about 15 minutes ago. I was late to the meeting because I just landed in the airport in Vancouver and jumped on the SkyTrain and came over here. So I'm coming to you from the Holiday Inn Express lounge. It's too early to check in. Ah, there's Thea.
Thank you.
Are you able to hear me?
Yep, thank you.
Okay. I was on the 99, but I switched to another bus, so I figured I'll pop off now and then say a few words. When I moved to Vancouver, it was and I had been on the Horseshoe Falls Regional Executive in Ontario. And it was one of the first ways that I got involved in work in the church beyond my local area, especially as a young person. I had been doing youth events and that kind of thing. But I knew that one of the ways I wanted to ground myself and get settled in my faith and in my love of the United Church was by giving back in a similar way I had done when I was in Ontario by joining the executive. And so I think I was on the executive for a year as a like corresponding member. I wasn't voting. I was just kind of getting a sense of the region and really getting settled in a place I didn't know. And then I've been here for 4 years and graduating from my undergrad in December. And so I'm excited to fill some of my empty time with giving more of my time to the region. And yeah, I just love that the region is able to connect people and connect all of our communities that are doing such important and life-giving work at the local level. Yeah.
Thank you, Thea. And aren't we blessed to be so well led by these beautiful volunteers? Simon, did you have anything else you wanted to say about executive?
No, I mean, just I think well, yes, I guess. Two real quick things. First of all, is just again the reminder that like we're all serving in different communities of faith across the region, and so you know, I hope you feel and know that we are doing all we can to represent the larger voice, and really we all share a heart for the flourishing of this region, of the church in this world. So if there's stuff we can do, if there's stuff we're not hearing or not communicating well, please, 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 we just we want. I really believe in our expression of faith as the United Church of Canada. And so whatever we can do to help amplify that, just let us know. And so the second piece is just to be praying for us. Like Trina said, we'll be meeting tomorrow, Thursday and Friday at the regional offices. And I would love for you all to just be praying for us, that we would continue to discern and communicate and be together in a good way. So that's it on my end, Trina.
Thank you, Simon. I also wanted to share with you that our First Third team is hard at work. They are, the animator circle is meeting as we speak right now, and they're getting ready to welcome 50 plus youth and leaders to Youth Trek in Vernon this weekend. And then the young adult retreat has over 65 young adults registered to attend, and there is a wait list for people who unfortunately, due to space constraints, can't get in. And so it's a busy 3 weeks coming up for First Third, and they're doing lots of great work throughout the region. But they are looking for some support for folks who are having difficulty financially in being able to attend those retreats. So if offering some bursaries for folks to attend events like this is something that your congregation might feel called to do, it would be something that would be most welcome. And you can reach out to the First Third team, anyone on the First Third team, but particularly Pamela Evans, if that's something that you feel like you might be able to help with. I want to ask Kendra to give us a little bit of an update around the justice work in our region.
Sure. Thanks so much, Trina. Hi, everybody. My name is Kendra Mitchell Foster, and I am the Justice Minister for our Pacific Mountain region. And if I'm speaking too fast, it's because we have lots going on. So the first thing that I want to talk about, you know that we have various different lines of programming, advocacy, and for different animation of different resolutions that have come through, both at our PMR AGM and in the GC 45. And a big one that we're working on right now is the resolution. I have the number written down here. It's the proposal 2501 that we had at our last AGM in Nanaimo, the apartheid-free communities proposal that was accepted. I just wanted to give a little update on that. So last week we officially, well, Simon, Simon's name as the president of our region was officially added to the apartheid-free community supporting organizations list. And we are now included in a webinar group, a webinar learning series group that meets once per month to talk about what we're doing, to talk about new initiatives that are coming up, and about how we can live into our apartheid-free communities pledge. And on that note, November is going to be a relatively busy month for some of these initiatives. Is it possible, Trina, that I can share my screen? I have a couple of announcements.
Yeah, Mauricio will look after that for you.
Great, thank you so much. So I just wanted to share something fantastic that's coming up. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
So there is a book launch, an online book launch coming up. It's on Saturday, November 15th, and it's at 10 a.m. Pacific. So this new book, The Cross and the Olive Tree, Cultivating Palestinian Theology Amid Gaza, has a new chapter in it from Shadia Kubti, who is part of our own region. She is the community outreach minister at Trinity Grace United Church in the Lower Mainland. And so we are supporting and partnering on this book launch, wanting to get everybody to come and listen to what she has to say, what the book is about. If you're interested in getting the book, it is currently in the United Church bookstore, so you can order that online and look at her chapter before the 15th. The reason why this is really exciting, number one, is that it's an examination of liberation theology with what's happening in Gaza right now. And how are we connected? How can we connect with this? Then the following 2 weeks after November 15th, after this book launch, PMR will be hosting 2 different webinars on the Wednesday evenings. So November 19th and 26th, there will be a newsletter coming out about this and at the beginning of November. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, do that. Those 2 events will be talking about some on-the-ground experience that folks have had in Palestine. And they will be talking about, oh, sorry, I did a thumbs up in the computer. Recognize that. And we'll be talking about what it means in light of these theological discoveries, learnings that we now have. What does that mean for our apartheid-free communities pledge? So tune in for those two webinars, one or both, after this book launch. We also will be launching a sort of a community engagement with some of the Advent resources that usually come out from Red Letter Christians around Christ in the Rubble. So staying tuned for those as well, learning on those couple of webinars how doing things that centers around Palestinian theology and liberation theology in light of Gaza can help you live into an apartheid-free pledge over the Advent season. So that's one thing that's happening. We also, in the line of our Palestinian solidarity work, we are, as a region, engaged in two different national networks that are talking about how we, as a broader church and as individual communities of faith, can animate some of those wonderful resolutions that were passed at GC 45. So one of them is called the Champions for Human Rights in Palestine and Israel. And the other one is specifically targeting how we're going to animate a lot of the different resolutions. So just so you know, Pacific Mountain Region is involved in figuring out how to roll that stuff out. Also, arms embargo work. Also. So that's a really big part of justice ministry right now. I also have a climate audit that we're nearing the end of. In 2023, the Youth Council wanted us to do a climate audit so that we can figure out where we are in terms of having to reduce our emissions by 80% by 2030. We're hoping to have all of our surveys and focus groups completed by the end of the year, with a new report coming out after Epiphany, so stay tuned for that. We have also started a campaign, a letter writing campaign to your MLAs about the Guaranteed Livable Income campaign that we have going on. So there was a justice update that was sent out on the 17th, which is the International Day for Eradication of Poverty, where there were three of us, myself as the Justice Minister, Reverend Barry Morris as the person who co-chairs the National Guaranteed Livable Income Network, and a testimonial from Ladner United Church from Shirley Baker, all sent to the MLA, Shirley, oh my gosh, Malcolmson, who is the Minister for BC for the poverty reduction and social justice. So that letter campaign that we've begun now will have resources showing up on our PMR website in the next 2 weeks. And we are hoping that folks in their communities, both as individuals and communities of faith, will be joining us in writing letters to your own MLA and to the MLA, the Minister for Poverty Reduction in BC, to advocate for a guaranteed livable income as a measure to lift people out of poverty until the anti-poverty strategies set to sort of come to fruition in 2034 take place. Last one, I'll be so fast. There's for affirming ministry, which is also a really important vein, a thread that we are constantly tugging at and developing in our justice ministry. There is a series that's happening right now called What the Hell? And we've run the first one last week. This is a poster for it. The series is about learning how some of the theological traditions in Christianity, which are not as prevalent in the United Church, but still float around out there, how these theologies continue to create harm and barriers for queer folks coming into the United Church. So we're talking about how the United Church does or does not talk about hell, the ideas, these theological ideas that have been used to oppress and marginalize queer folks, and we're learning about queer theology. So if you're interested in turning some of this theology on its head, you can come on Wednesday night, tomorrow night. The registration link is at Affirming Connections. They're our partner in this series. And we have 2 more weeks of this series. The other thing that we've been busy figuring out and working on is we have an Affirming Leaders Day, which is an online conference on November 15th, the same day as the book launch. So you'll be busy that day, I know. And these are folks who work in their communities, in our communities, to show a way of living out an affirming theology, an affirming worldview, and an affirming way of being in their everyday lives. So these folks are pushing the boundaries, inviting us to come with them. And so if you're interested in learning from them, this is going to be a great conference. It's from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific. And again, you can find the registration link in our last newsletter, in the newsletter coming up, and on the Affirming Connections site. And there's 5 million more things, but I'm going to let somebody else talk. So Justice is busy, and I am just so grateful for everyone who helps me make these things happen. Megan Kirk is a major superstar who's been working on the website, working on our newsletters, making sure posts go up, and the climate audit. So I just really want to say a big thank you to Megan and send her rainbows and stars and gratitude. So thanks, everybody. And if you need to get in touch, send me an email, give me a call. I'm really happy to hear from you.
Thanks, Kendra. Yes, and just so you all know, Affirming Connections is a ministry that serves Chinook Winds and Pacific Mountain Region. Pacific Mountain Region offers financial support to the Affirming Connections as part of our Affirming ministry. So they're very much part of our life and work here in Pacific Mountain Region. And I want to echo Kendra's thanks to the staff and all of the staff that serve the region. Megan and Kendra and all of the folks that do all of the work around the region. Nancy, you have a question? Nancy Painter.
Thanks, Kendra. I just wanted to ask you if you still want us with the Trans Rights for Youth postcards to send them directly to the Prime Minister, or do you want to collect them and send a huge package for more impact?
Just sending them right on to the Prime Minister would be fantastic. I think that having a steady stream of those trans rights postcards arriving on Mark Carney's desk, I just sometimes delight at this vision of Mark Carney's desk covered in a mountain of trans rights postcards. And if that stream continues to trickle in, then I'd be really happy for you to send them on as well.
Okay, because
Thanks,
we have a showing this Friday of Mama Bear, so we've held on to the ones from the Pride Picnic and from our congregation to send them all together, because we're going to have them out again on Friday night.
Fantastic. I can't wait to hear how your screening goes.
Thanks. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Any other questions? We just have a minute or two. Okay. So I just wanted to give a bit of an update around staff. I want to acknowledge that Victoria Andrews has accepted a call to a position in Ontario, and so she will be leaving her role on October 31st. Officially, she starts in the new role November 15th, but she has some holidays she has to take. So she's winding up with us on October 31st. So we want to express our profound gratitude for her years of service. She's been with us for 11 years. For her years of service here in Pacific Mountain Region, we have been deeply blessed by what she has offered to us here in this region over the years. So I'm not sure if she's here, but thank you. I know she doesn't want to be spotlighted, so thank you very much, Victoria. And I want to share that Kathy Davies will be moving into the more senior role of past relations coordinator and stepping into the shoes that Victoria is leaving empty, and we'll be very grateful to have Kathy start that role November 1st. And we have a position posted for the northern region, and we'll be moving forward with that search process in the next couple of weeks. So we're very excited for Victoria for her new opportunities, and looking forward to the ways that our team is going to be shifting and growing into something new. Next, I wanted to invite Michelle Slater to share all of the amazing opportunities that she is preparing for you all.
Thank you. I will just try to share. Now I can't figure out how. I had it right here. Did I lose my ability to share? Maybe I did. No. Share. There we go. Whoops. Can you see that?
Yes.
That work?
Yep, we can see it.
Perfect. There we go.
That's better.
Great. I can't see you, but you can see it. So, so thanks very much, Trina. We know that these are challenging times and that we are called as church leaders, both ministry personnel and lay leaders, to embody the gospel, to embody Jesus' radical hospitality and welcome and call for justice now more than ever, and that we can't do it alone. And so leadership is committed to providing as many opportunities as we can for church leaders of all kinds to be encouraged, empowered, inspired, and equipped for the challenging and meaningful leadership that is ahead of us. So be sure to check out the website, Leadershift UCCAN, leadershiftUCCAN.org. And if you are worried that you're missing events that are happening, please do scroll to the bottom of the webpage and sign up for the semi-regular Leadershift newsletter. We are focusing in this fall and in the spring on learning and support groups for ministry personnel. We are starting with one just before Advent, a 4-week session with Janice McLean from the Prayer Bench for a time of community and reflection and Advent support and nurture for clergy who are leading, engaging worship and Bible study and book study during Advent. Then in January, we'll have a 6-month cohort with Susan Nienaber, formerly of the Alban Institute, now with LeaderWise, for those who are wanting to learn more about leading through conflict. And that will include opportunities to work through with Susan some of your own challenges or things that are going on in your community right now. And then in February, we'll start another 5-month cohort on adaptive leadership with Reverend Clara King. This one will have some group times and individual one-on-one coaching sessions with Clara included. And so we're really happy to be able to offer these support and learning opportunities. Another thing we want to do to support clergy during Advent is a special 1-hour worship time with our new moderator preaching. And this is for sustaining those who give a lot of themselves during Advent to prepare engaging, inspiring worship, who lead book studies and Bible studies and hanging the greens and Christian New Year's parties and all kinds of things. So this is a time for Advent, for clergy, to gather together to reflect and to worship, to feed and nourish you as you lead and nourish your communities during Advent. Coming up also in the new year is the Decolonization is a Community Act retreat. This retreat is for church leaders and specifically young adults. We're wanting to include the passion and commitment of many young adults for the work of decolonization and to help form networks and leaders. And so This will be registration in pairs, a church leader, lay or ministry personnel, and a young adult, either from their community of faith or adjacent to it. We would really love young adults to know that their church, our church, shares the commitment and passions that they do. So this is February 17th to 20th at Camp Firkham on Gambier Island, Elknech, on the unceded territory of the Squamish Nation, with Indigenous knowledge keepers, elders, and facilitators. We are going north. Leadership is back on the road in April. We're going to Trinity United in Prince George, and we're going to be focusing on how ways we can be in ministry together in our communities of faith, across communities of faith, and in our neighborhoods and communities with those of good faith and no faith, but who share common values and commitments. So we're calling it Festival of Faith North, Stronger Together, Cooperative Ministry. And so put that in your calendar, and the registration will be open soon. Radical Hope, a clergy retreat, was postponed from the end of September to mid to end April. This is after Easter, and we hope will be a time of real rest and renewal and community for ministry personnel, with Reverend Therese Descamps and on her work on finding hope, finding actual radical hope that is not shallow or superficial, and that doesn't ignore what's really happening, but helps us really ground into where we find our hope in the gospel. And this is a year ahead, but starting September, October 2026, going through till April 2027, a new offering from Sowing Promise. Some of you will have been part of the Sowing Promise retreats, leadership programs and retreats. We're working with the Caneo Center from Puerto Rico for a renewal and revitalization pathway. It will be 8 months of cohort learning online together, and we will finish with a retreat in April 2027, somewhere in BC, somewhere in the Lower Mainland. We'll be looking at all those things on the left: sustainability, limits, healing our hurts, and preventing burnout. So put that in your calendar, and or make a mental note of that, and set aside some what's the word I'm looking for? Continuing education budget. Yes, that's it. Thank you. Again, check us out at leadershifuccan.org, and do sign up for the newsletter, or just email me, mslater@united-church.ca. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. And you can see all the ways in which we are, as a region, trying to operationalize our goal and vision of healthy communities of faith and effective leadership and faithful public witness, as those are the things that we strive towards. We're close to the end of our time here, and so I'm just wondering if you have briefly any questions. I'm happy to give a moment to respond to any of those. Not seeing any hands raised. I did want to I just see Ryan McNally online here. So I just want to say welcome to the region, Ryan. Ryan is serving in Kelowna, and we're really grateful to have you among us here. So welcome, Ryan.
Thanks.
You're welcome. And I don't know if there's anybody else that I haven't seen who's new. If there are, just raise your hand so we can say hello and welcome. I saw Shannon Mang, you're kind of new. Serving in the OK Falls, Oliver area. So welcome to Shannon too. Okay, well, thank you everyone for your time and commitment to this region and the work that you're doing on behalf of us all. We're so grateful. I didn't actually confirm this, but Simon, are you closing us with a prayer?
And a sneaking suspicion.
Thank you.
Friends, just thank you for your time, and as Trina said, just for the work of your heart wherever it is that you are. You are an amazing people living out an amazing story. So let me pray for us as we head out. God, we thank you for this good work that you entrust us with with these good people that you entrust into our lives, God, as we head out there into the world. May your spirit continue to lead us. May your spirit continue to invigorate us. And God, where there is discouragement, may you surround us with people who will remind us of what this is all about. And so, God, go ahead of us, continue to breathe fresh life into the work of our hearts. We ask all of this in Jesus' awesome and holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. So good to see you. I'll just hang around here for a second. If someone has questions, you can ask it. But we otherwise have a good rest of your day.